All right. So thank you. Hi, everyone. Good evening. And I would like to thank every one of you who's come from near and far for being here. My name is Tanvi Vartak, and I have, before ECT, worked with Instagram, Tinder, and Spotify, specifically with the Gen Z audience. So I have a good understanding of being around them all the time and thinking about how they are thinking. And therefore, sorry. Thought about this problem. Now, imagine smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Okay. Imagine that for a minute and think about what effect it would have on you. And that's exactly what would happen if you're socially disconnected. Okay. Now, what is social disconnection? It's when you have a conflict with somebody. Like Sarah and I fight today, and I'm like, I am not going to talk to Sarah. That's what's going to happen when we are socially disconnected. And that is equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But that's really not the problem. The problem is loneliness, which is at the top of the pyramid, which is an internalized feeling of being completely alone. And that is a real problem, right? Every one of us has experienced loneliness at some point of our life. And why is loneliness a problem? Because 68% of people who've experienced loneliness at some point of time in their life have experienced some kind of a heart disease. And even when they're admitted into the hospital, they're sent back after recovery because they are in this internalized feeling of loneliness. Now, how does that become our problem, right? Because American youth is facing a real big crisis of loneliness. As you can see in the chart, American Gen Z and millennials are facing the highest level of loneliness. In fact, loneliness year after year has been increasing. And 68% of Gen Zs before the pandemic said that they are lonely. 63% were attributing depression and anxiety to their loneliness. So I thought that this is a problem big enough for me to solve. It's a problem big enough to me to think about a solution for. And then because I knew my parents were in the room and they would think that, of course, you're always on your phone, right? Like that's the root cause of all your problem. But actually, it isn't. Young people being stuck on their phone isn't the real problem. The real problem is that we don't have the skills to know how to be in relationships, to know how to communicate to each other. And that is the real problem. Reddit is a great, minefield when it comes to people actually putting out their thoughts over there. And that's when I realized where this person, and his name is 90x Rag, talks about him being his own enemy when it comes to loneliness. He talks about how he lacks the skills of relational intelligence, of how to respond to people, of how to communicate to people. And that is the reason why he just avoids the situation altogether. So let's try to solve his problem. Let's give him a name. Let's give him a face. Let's imagine him as somebody that you would see on a subway, right? Let's give him a name, Liam, who's a graphic designer. He prefers doing all things by himself, which is drawing and creating and photography in his room. Let's think about, what does he feel? He's afraid of rejection, like every one of us is. He's an overthinker. He self-blames himself. And what are his challenges? He hates social media because he just does not know how to interact with people in real life or on a social media platform. But Liam has some goals. Liam wants to go back into society. Liam wants to be better at his relational intelligence. And what does he need? He needs a non-judgmental space. That's not too much to ask, but it isn't existing in his current space. He also needs the guidance and the support of how to navigate this path, right? Like we all have experienced this, that we don't know when a relationship suddenly ends. Sometimes we're just given no answer to it, just the end. And that is something that somebody like Liam has constantly faced. So we're going to solve this problem for him, okay? So I started brainstorming ideas. I took ideas from Jan's class in user research. I took ideas from Niobe Way's class in developing relational intelligence. I took ideas from Javier's class in games and play and education. And I thought and thought and thought. And I came up with a solution, right? Which is something that I'm trying to test now. And it's called Moe, because it is a learning app that empowers Gen Z and late millennials to develop relational intelligence skills and build meaningful connections in order to combat the growing loneliness epidemic. How we do that is by teaching people relational intelligence. So you fall on the spectrum of building these skills of interpersonal curiosity, active listening, empathy, authentic communication, and building a culture of care. It moves from an individual level to a societal level. And it doesn't matter who you are, but you will lack somewhere because no person is a perfect human being. So we help you by personalizing your learning to develop one of these skills. And it has a story, it has science embedded in why this is the solution. Because in the Okinawa Islands of Japan, these group of people have the highest average number of centenarians. Like they live over 100 years just because they have strong social community. There is research that actually proves that having a strong social group ensures that you live a long, happy, and fulfilling life more than your romantic relationships. So what are some of the features? One of the features in Games for Learning that we learn is like a personal pedagogical agent, right? Like somebody who is supporting your learning, somebody who understands you. Think of Aladdin, think of a genie to your Aladdin. And that is what we want to give Liam in this case. We want to give him the opportunity to think about his own learning agent, which in this case is a bird because he likes birds. What it does is in an AI form, it complements the user's tendencies. It helps them map those behaviors that we actually want them to exhibit in the future. And it also like changes the way of thinking of you're not talking to a machine, you're talking to somebody who actually is an animal, but in a humanized form. They have human qualities. They can talk to me and they're trying to help me. The second is the visualization of a social circle, right? So when we think about our friends on Instagram or Facebook, we think about them in terms of numbers, but people are not numbers. People are people. They add qualities and values to your life that actually make an impact. So this actually helps you think about how many people in your life are making a qualitative difference and who do you want to spend more effort into building a meaningful relationship with, because at any of these levels if you feel that there is a void, then you might end up feeling lonely. So by visualizing this social circle, it helps you construct your own learning path on strategies of how can you build more meaningful relationships there. And how can this be used in context is you have a personalized AI learning companion where you can talk to them as if they talk to you, rather as if you're talking to a friend, and help you in very simple words stop overthinking and redirect your thinking into what in academic terms we would call metacognitive strategies. But in reality, it's just helping you think about your thinking, right? Are you thinking correctly? Are you asking the right questions? Is something that we are trying to answer. And it is in our learning perspective, giving AI a perspective, giving AI a personality, giving AI a persona that helps you think. It is also breaking down the problem for you into very small things and helping you understand in like one way of the process versus like ChatGPT giving you all the information download in one go. How it all comes together is that these are the skills that we want to build. These are the features that, we want to have in the app. But our overall goal is one thing. Like imagine a world. This is the idea with which the whole app is created. And why I think about it is that where everyone feels that they belong. Like think about it. We would never be lonely if we knew that we had the skills to walk into the room with confidence and build a relationship with somebody. Would we? And that is exactly what we are trying to cultivate. Realizing that each one of us is different. Realizing that each one of us has something special in us. And how is it that we can bring that to the forefront, to the table, is what we are trying to do. So join my moe, join my circle. If you feel that you are interested in this project, come and talk to me. I'm set up here and make a connection. Thank you.